and they are our first line of defense, and to continue to support the men and women of the U.S. Border Patrol, Customs and Border Protection, because they really are, as I just said, the first line of defense. And when we have threats from, organizations from other countries, this is serious. This is not. This is real law enforcement keeping Americans and America safe.
Another threat to national security is emerging at the southern border. Agents with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection are on heightened alert after new alleged threats from the cartel, apparently calling for direct attacks on Border Patrol agents, not just with weaponized drones, but ordering gang members to shoot at agents. Some cartels even allegedly incentivizing members through a tiered bounty system. News Nation's Allie Bradley is live from one of the most active border sectors, that is Del Rio, Texas. Allie, this is all in response to the border crackdown.
Yeah, I mean, the border right now is essentially secure. So this is kind of out of desperation, right, Nicole? And so we obtained this officer safety alert exclusively here at News Nation that shows that one of Mexico's most violent cartels is ordering these direct attacks on law enforcement down here at the border. So the FBI right now is saying that the Cartel de Jalisco New Generation, known as CJNG, has instructed its members to fire across the U.S.-Mexico border at Customs and Border Protection personnel, specifically in the San Diego area. Now, this alert adds that CJNG is actually urging attacks outside of its own territory. This move is designed to draw heavy retaliation and scrutiny from the United States and the Mexican government onto rival criminal organizations like the Sinaloa cartel. Take a listen to what retired Border Patrol Sector Chief Chris Clem had to say about it.
Wow. So, cartels are, they're, authorizing, people within their ranks to do attacks on, Border Patrol, specifically around just the San Diego, California area. But, I'm pretty sure it's going to be widespread into other areas where Border Patrol is tasked at, protecting our borders. And as they were saying, this is one of the moves that they're doing to intimidate Border Patrol or to, incentivize, as they were saying, they have a tiered bounty system, incentivizing, the members of the cartels to, to shoot at the Border Patrol agents. So this is one of their counters to, not being able to go about, doing what they normally do, which is, get people in here legally. And, that's a big, that's a big part of their business, because, people are paying thousands of dollars to come over here, and they're also able to get, folks into the country that are going to be, smuggling drugs, or, people who are going to be sales that are sent here to do, some egregious things within our country. So, this is very, very serious. And, you know, um, you know, definitely don't want to take it as a joke. The cartels are very, very dangerous. They do have a stronghold within, Mexico. I wouldn't even say certain parts, because you can find a cartel more than likely on every corner of Mexico, and even some within the United States who have, been able to get over here and just stay in the shadows. So, this is very serious. And as you see, they're armored up just as like Border Patrol. They have, you know, um, automatic weapons. They have, armor. They conceal their identity, and they look like a militia. They look like they look like a platoon. They look like they're, army. I'm sure they drill and train and things of that nature. So, they have RPGs and 50 cals. I mean, you name it, they have it, as you can see in these photos. So, yeah, this is definitely a threat that has to be taken serious, and you definitely don't want to take this lightly at
Be,
all.
an attempt to shift the focus and blame on one cartel to get the attention of the Mexican government and the United States government. This is like infighting within terrorist organizations to create problems for their enemies.
Now, in response, agents are being warned to remain hypervigilant, closely monitor their surroundings, and wear their body armor at all times, regardless of assignment or patrol area. And of course, Nicole, this alert really underscores the potential for that cartel violence to spill over into the U.S. Of course, right now, the federal government is assessing this threat and trying to kind of mitigate it right now. But again, just warning agents to be hypervigilant out here, Nicole.
Yeah, so
See, as you can see on the table, man, they have gold-plated weaponry. Like they're not at a lack of resources. They're not at a lack of armor or a lack of firearms at all. They are well equipped to carry out these type of actions. So I seen a video on social media this past week where it's like I think it was Mexican police. They were like the cartel was in the road trying to stop them because they was gonna more than likely kidnap them or kill them or rob them, something of that nature. And he was swerving, and he had trucks coming at him and things like that trying to get his car to stop. He was luckily able to swerve and get out of their way. But even Mexican authorities are, they have a hard time dealing with the cartels because they have so many numbers. They have all the same resources, sometimes even better resources, even better firepower, and they're very relentless. So yeah, that's the dangers of dealing with the cartel.
Ali, something you said at the beginning of your report there, the administration saying not a single person has been released into the country over the past 9 months. Have they now achieved their goal of full operational control?
Not yet, but they are getting a little bit closer. So we got some new data from our sources that showed in December, they were looking at about 48 gotaways. Those are people who successfully evade law enforcement each and every day. So they were looking at about 48 a day. That's 1,500 for a month. But then fast forward to January, we look at those numbers. Our sources say that they were seeing about 29 a day. So they've almost cut that in half. And then you look at that number makes it about 900 a month that are successfully getting away. So you're still dealing with just under 1,000 people, Nicole, that are successfully evading law enforcement, and they're not being vetted. It's important for our viewers to know when they're a gotaway, they do not have interactions with law enforcement. They end up in the interior, unchecked, unvetted. They have never had an interaction with law enforcement. That's why they're called a gotaway. Nicole.
All right.
900 people a day, even if it's down to that number, man, that's a lot of people over time. I'm sorry, 900 a month. That's a lot of people over time. And again, they're not being vetted. So it could be any and everybody, man. Murderers, drug dealers, smugglers, people who have done some crazy stuff, just evading law enforcement and coming right into our communities. So, these are the type of people that ICE are trying to, get out of the country, and the type of people that Border Patrol is trying to keep out of the country. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be more news on this, but I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. If you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.